Hey guys, what's up? You're watching Clique, and today we're going to be looking at the Dierya Dk63 keyboard. Let's not waste any time and get straight into it. So starting off with what comes inside of the box, which the box that it came in looks like this. You're going to get, of course, the keyboard itself. You're going to get a wire keycap puller. You're going to get a manual that basically tells you all the commands and shortcuts that you'll need to use if you end up picking up this keyboard. You're going to get a warranty card. And the last thing you're going to get is 4 extra keycaps. The Dk63 has a unique 60% form factor, not to be confused with a 65% form factor, because while this does include your arrow keys, there are some pretty interesting trade-offs. So the first thing that you might notice is that the Dk63 has a non-standard right shift key, which is going to make this a challenge for if you're looking to pick up an aftermarket keycap set, if you want to swap out the stock keycaps that it comes with. Also, the location of your / and question mark key is placed all the way to the right instead of being right next to the period key. So this was really annoying for me, but after a while you might get used to it. For me, even after using it for over a month, it's still hard for me to break my years of muscle memory of hitting that specific key in that same spot. And this one wasn't as big of a deal to me since I almost never use these, but in order for you to make space for your arrow keys for your right Alt and FN key, they're shrinked to 1U size instead of the regular 1.25U size. So to recap, you're basically getting your arrow keys that you would get in a 65% form factor, but instead it's being crammed into a 60% keyboard at the cost of making it more difficult to find an aftermarket set. You get a smaller right shift, a condensed right Alt and FN key, and a pretty frustrating position for your question mark key. If you can deal with those cons, then you're going to get your dedicated arrow keys while remaining as compact as possible, which is great. Checking out your options for case and keycap colors, you can choose between either black or white. And then for your switch selection, you're going to have either red, blue, brown, or black switches. And in case you're wondering, no, this keyboard is not hot swappable, and the switches are soldered into the board. Looking at the case, it's low profile, meaning you'll be able to easily see the switches and their RGB lighting all around the keyboard. And since this is a low profile case, the sound you get from typing might sound a bit louder, and any clack you get might be slightly more pronounced than if you were to have a standard case that might mute the sound a bit. Checking out the cable, it's a tightly braided detachable L-shaped USB Type-C cable, which works great, and I had no issues with its connection in wired mode. And even though I prefer a regular USB Type-C cable, this is going to come down more to whichever aesthetic you like more. Moving on to the keycaps, they are made from ABS plastic, which is known to be a bit thinner and less resistant to shine than compared to PBD plastic. These keycaps feel slick, and I've already noticed some shine and fingerprints start to develop on some of the keys that I use frequently. Personally, I think these keycaps are solid considering the price point, and the only thing I really want to point out is that these caps have a strong gamer aesthetic to them. So if that's what you're going for, then this should work good for you. But if you wanted to, you can always buy an extra keycap set and swap the original ones out later. Just keep in mind that this has a really weird size for the right shift key, so it might be kind of hard to find an exact match for this specific keyboard. Okay, so the wireless experience. This is where things start to get kind of messy for me. So does the wireless work? Yes, kind of. So what I mean by that is that at short distances, it does work and it works well. But if your PC is more than a few feet from wherever your desk is, where your keyboard is on your desk like mine is, then you might get some occasional jitteriness and stutters. If you're willing to make accommodations to your setup to make sure that your connection is going to be good, then by all means, this is going to be an awesome feature to have on a budget board, especially at this price. But for me, it was a sacrifice that I wasn't happy to make and probably would not have done if I wasn't reviewing this board. But I did end up moving everything in my setup back, so most of my time spent with this keyboard was connected in wired mode, just because I really don't like having to change a major part of my setup, which is moving my PC just to get one of my keyboards to work. I also read some people mention this spotty connection issue in some reviews on Amazon, so it seems like this might come down to either their QC issues or the Bluetooth really just doesn't work that great at distances more than a few feet. Just keep that in mind if you're someone who's really looking for that wireless capability in the Dk63 keyboard. Next, we have the typing experience. For the current price of the Dk63, which is about $40 on Amazon right now, this has an overall solid typing experience that I could confidently recommend at this price point, with a few caveats. First, like I mentioned earlier, the arrow keys being in this layout might throw some people off. Second, the stabilizers are about what you'd expect from a keyboard at this price point. Do they help to reduce some of the rattling? Yeah, for sure, but there is still wire rattle. Yeah, especially on that spacebar. But if you're just looking to get your first mechanical keyboard, or if you're not looking for a premium typing experience, then this will be awesome for you. The red switches that I'm using on my keyboard feel smooth, and the noise is on par with other stock linear switches on pre-built boards that I've tried. There's also a bit of spring ping that you can hear when typing, and as far as the speed and responsiveness, whether you're gaming or typing, it feels really fast and responsive. And I had an overall great time gaming using this keyboard for some Valorant games and using it to type out some essays. And don't worry, I put a sound test at the end of the video, so if you want to check that out after the review, make sure you go do that. So changing the RGB effects is as easy as pressing FN and then pressing the / key. And you can see you can just cycle through some of these RGB modes. So if you're wondering about software for this keyboard, it does exist, but I personally don't care to use it for a few reasons. First, it isn't advertised on the product page or in the keyboard manual that comes in the box. Second, I didn't even know that it existed until I saw someone ask about it in the Q&A section of Amazon reviews, where many people were complaining that it was buggy and had issues. And third, I finally decided that I wanted to download it just for this review, but just to do that, you have to figure out which version of the software that you want to download, because there's 4 different versions that you can choose from. And to figure out which one that you needed to download, you're gonna have to check your serial number and the color of the box that your keyboard came in, which can get really annoying if you threw the box away or you can't find the serial number. So I would personally recommend taking a picture of the Dk63 manual or referencing it online that you can easily find it, and using the built-in hardware shortcuts for making any adjustments on the board itself. So personally, I would not recommend the software. So one more thing to keep in mind is that some of the other popular keyboards available at this price range are some keyboards like the Redragon K552, which is a TKL keyboard, so a 10 keyless that's available for $30, that also has mechanical switches and will be compatible with a standard layout for about $10 cheaper. You can also get the Motospeed TKL, which comes in at $40, and also another one is the Have It mechanical keyboard, which is about the same price but also has your standard TKL layout with a numpad included. The design is very unique, and I just want you guys to be aware of your options at this price point before making your purchasing decision. Overall, the Dk63 at the $40 price point is a good pickup in my opinion if you're in the market for a wireless 60 or 65% keyboard on a budget, or if you're looking to get your first mechanical gaming keyboard. You get that compact 60% form factor with arrow keys and wireless capabilities that can be a bit jittery at times. You get ABS keycaps, an L-shaped USB Type-C cable, RGB customization, and you can swap out the keycaps later if you wanted to. Like always, a link for purchase is going to be down below in the description. If you guys enjoyed the video, please make sure to give it a like, since it really does help with the channel. And if you're new here, consider subscribing, because I make all types of content on gaming tech like these videos and more. Sound test is right after this, and like always, you guys are awesome. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys in the next one.